Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. I'm in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. Imagine juicy, sweet raspberries right in your home garden every single year. I have lots of established mature raspberry shrubs growing in my home garden. We're almost at the end of October and I'm still harvesting sweet, juicy, delicious raspberries. Today, I'm going to plant yet 2 new raspberry varieties right here in my south side garden. And I'm going to share with you, my fellow home gardeners, everything you need to know about planting raspberry plants right now in the fall season. We're going to cover sun exposure. What kind of soil do raspberry plants need? What kind of fertilization? Soil pH level. Of course, watering and care needs. So for those of you looking for that online gardening channel, which offers tips, tricks, easy yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. For those of you who enjoy the content of my videos, if you find my videos to be useful, helpful, informative, click the thumbs up icon below and don't forget to click the bell icon below as well so you can get notifications each time I'll upload a new video. Now come with me, let's talk about raspberry planting in the fall and let's get gardening. Raspberries are fruit brambles, not trees, even though majority of varieties can reach mature heights of over 9 feet. They belong to plant genus called rubus. So there are 2 types of raspberry varieties out there. Some are summer bearing, which means that they produce the raspberry yield 1 time a year during the summer season. The second kind of raspberry varieties are our ever bearing varieties, which means that they produce raspberry harvest or yield 2 times per year. 1 during the summer season and second time is during the fall season. Raspberry comes in variety of beautiful colors depending on the type of raspberry you're trying to grow. Raspberries are purple, yellow, white, and of course our traditional red color raspberries, which are the most popular. Some varieties are thornless and some are thorned. If you want to extend your growing and harvesting season, I recommend that you plant various raspberry varieties in your home garden. I have purple varieties growing in my home garden, golden, and of course red. And as you just saw, even in the middle of fall, I am still harvesting juicy, delicious raspberries for myself and my beautiful family. The root ball and the crown of a raspberry plant is a perennial, which means that it can produce a delicious raspberry harvest for you for up to 20 years. However, the canes of the raspberry plants are biennials. That means that only the second year's cane growth will put on flowers and produce raspberries for you. The first year cane growth on any raspberry plant is called a primal cane. It is more delicate, more tender, and bright green in color. First year primal canes will simply put on growth and beautiful green foliage. They will not put on any flower buds, no berries for you the first growing year. As the primal cane continues to grow, the second year of its growth, it's going to turn darker in color and woodier in texture. Now this cane is considered a flora cane. Second year canes are ready to put on flower blooms and beautiful raspberries. So it's the second year canes, the flora canes, that will give us that beautiful raspberry harvest that we are looking to get. Majority of raspberry varieties are self-pollinating. What does that mean? That means that they don't need another raspberry variety growing near them in order to bear fruit. Today I'm going to be planting 2 new red raspberry varieties right over here in my south side garden. The first is the red Nova raspberry. So according to the tag, this variety is known for its high yield, medium-sized berries. The mature height will be 6 feet, mature width will be 6 feet as well. And this variety is hardy in zones 3 through 8, which is perfect because I live and garden right over here, Long Island, New York, zone 7A. This variety is self-pollinating and it does have thorns. So be careful when you're growing and harvesting your yields. The second red raspberry variety, which I will be planting today with you guys in my south side garden, is the Heritage raspberry variety right over here. Let's turn the tag around and take a look. You could see right here, its plant gene is rubus. This variety is extremely cold hardy, produces a large red colored fruit, 2 yields per year. So this is an ever bearing raspberry variety. And the first one, the Nova, is actually a summer bearing. So by planting 2 of these varieties in my home garden, I am and I will be extending my growing and harvest time. Full sun location required, which we will get into very shortly. 6 feet will be the mature height, 6 feet will be the mature width, and this variety is hardy in zones 4 through 8. Just like many vegetables in our home garden, raspberries prefer full sun planting and growing location. By that, I mean at least 6 to 8 hours of bright, direct sunlight per day. Unlike other fruits like strawberries or tomatoes, raspberries can and will tolerate growing in part shade location as well. However, the fruit or the yield, the harvest, will not be as abundant, as large, as if you were to plant them in a full sun location. So I do recommend planting in a full sun growing location. Also, raspberries will not tolerate wet feet. If you plant them in a soil that's not well draining, too clayous or too sandy, your raspberry plant will die from root rot. So if you feel your soil is compact, clayous or sandy, make sure you amend it 1 week before planting with either compost or well-rotted manure. Raspberries are typically planted in rows. You could see right over here, starting from the fence line, I have 1 row going this way. Here is the next row. You could see right over here. This is where my last raspberry plant, established plant, is right over here. So I'm going to continue my 2 rows. If you are planting in rows, make sure that each row is roughly 12 to 18 inches wide. The width of each row should not exceed 2.5 feet. If you are planting multiple raspberries like I am today, make sure that you space each plant roughly 2 to 3 feet apart from the next plant. I wanted to zoom in and to show you right over here my current spacing between my existing raspberry plants. Look how beautiful and large these raspberries look. So here is my first row and here is my second row. So the spacing between the 2 rows is roughly 2 feet. So I'm going to move about 2 feet to the left of my existing raspberry plant, and I'm going to start digging my planting hole. As you are digging your planting hole, if you find any rocks, roots, any obstructive debris, make sure that you pull it out of the planting hole accordingly. When you are planting pre-potted raspberry plants, not bare root, the planting hole has to be at least twice as deep and twice as wide than the sizing of the container in which it came. So when you dug up your planting hole, again, any rocks, any roots, we want to discard them. You always want to measure. You want to place the container into the hole. You want to make sure that the root ball fits comfortably. You could see that the height is absolutely perfect, and so is the width or the diameter of my planting hole. This root ball will have plenty of space to grow. So now what we're going to do next is, of course, you're going to take your plant out of the container. You want to take a look at the root system. And I always like to loosen up the bottom end of the root ball, because we are planting in the fall, not in the late winter, early spring. Do not fertilize your raspberry plant at the time of planting. Why? Because if you will add any sort of fertilizer, now you're going to encourage new leaf growth. And the cold, freezing winter temperatures are just around the corner, and you do not want to hurt or stunt your raspberry plant. So no fertilization today. We place our raspberry plant, we position it in the center of the planting hole, make sure that it sits comfortably, and we start to backfill the hole. Make sure that when you're backfilling, the crown or the top end of the root ball will still be exposed and visible from your planting hole. So do not overfill the planting hole. Here is our first raspberry plant. You could see that I backfilled the planting hole and I left the crown exposed. You can clearly see the crown right here on top of the soil surface. And here is the second hole, which I have already started to dig. This hole is in my first raspberry row, and you could see that I'm spacing the plants. My second planting hole is ready. Once again, I'm going to position my second raspberry plant in the center to make sure that there is plenty of depth as well as width. You could see that there's still distance in the width, and you could still see that there's distance in the depth. So once again, my fellow home gardeners, we pull the raspberry plant out, take a closer look at the root system. We loosen the root system up. We place the raspberry plant comfortably in the center, and we start to backfill. This is what a crown is, the upper portion of the root ball. We want to make sure that we do not backfill too much, and we leave the crown exposed like this. Again, no fertilization at the time of planting because we are planting in the fall and not early spring. Perfect. You could see the crown is exposed and the plant looks comfortably planted. If you are planting in the late winter, early spring, whether you're planting a bare root or a potted raspberry, make sure that you do fertilize at the time of planting with an organic, well-balanced, roughly 10-10-10 NPK ratio fertilizer, because the plant will start to wake up out of dormancy at that period, will start to put on new foliage, new growth. That's when you want to fertilize. You're going to find raspberry sold in two different ways. The first is a dormant bare root. Dormant bare root raspberries are typically seen and sold during late winter, early spring months. The second way you're going to see raspberries sold and planted is via pre-potted, established raspberry plants, which is exactly what we had planted with you guys today. You're going to see pre-potted, established raspberry plants sometime between mid-spring and mid-fall seasons. If you are planting leafed raspberry plants in the fall and you know that you're expecting freezing temperatures, please make sure to get that frost protection cloth out and ready to protect the delicate foliage of your raspberry plant. If the freezing temperatures are already here, yet the soil in your home garden is still manageable, workable, and you decided to plant your raspberries now, make sure that you plant them as quickly as possible. You do not want to expose that root ball for prolonged periods of time to freezing air temperatures. Just like blueberries, raspberries prefer to grow in acidic soil. The perfect pH level for growing raspberries is between 5.6 and 6.2. Raspberries are not considered to be invasive plant species, but just like strawberries, they do secretly tend to shoot out runners. So if you want to keep your raspberry plant looking neat, compact, tidy, when you start noticing these raspberry runners, you should take your clean pruning shears and cut them off all the way to the soil surface. Right over here, I have one of my purple raspberry varieties. This variety is called Jewel. And using this plant, I wanted to show you exactly what a raspberry runner looks like. So let's follow this thorned cane right over here. You could see how it trails all the way down to the soil surface where it ultimately attached itself and started to grow a separate root system. Even if I tried to tug on it, you could see that it's firmly planted, and you could see already new growth right over here. So if you don't want your raspberry plant to spread as far, or maybe you don't want to grow another raspberry plant, the ideal thing to do is to cut this off right at the soil surface. This is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here today in my home garden in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. If you have enjoyed the content of this video, if you found today's video to be useful, helpful, informative, in absolutely any way, don't be shy, guys. Show me that support by clicking the thumbs up icon below. It's super easy for you to do, yet it's super pleasing and rewarding to me. Also, by clicking the thumbs up icon below, this allows YouTube to recommend my videos to other home gardeners like yourself. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know, do you grow raspberries in your home garden? If so, when do you prefer to plant them? In the late winter or fall season? Share some pictures of your beautiful home gardens with me. I personally take the time to read each and every single one of your comments, and I respond to each and every single one of you. If you haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, please do not wait any longer. Do so today. It's super easy. Just click the subscribe button below. If you want to get notifications from YouTube each time I'll upload a new video, don't forget to click the bell icon below as well. Stay healthy, happy, be well. Each and every single one of you, stay healthy and stay safe. And happy gardening, guys. And I'll see you again in my upcoming videos. Bye, guys.